Hi, my name is PJ Murphy. I'm the owner and manager of Ashcroft Kitchens.
And my name is Edward Hayden. I am lecturer in Waterford Institute of Technology, course leader of the Higher Certificate in Arts in Culinary Arts there, and also owner of the Edward Hayden School of Cookery in Graignamanagh, just across the bridge. So I'm a kind of an emigrant here tonight, PJ.
You're alright. Well, at least you're on Wexford side, you're not too bad, so you're not. You hadn't far to come, so you hadn't.
There you have it.
Yeah.
Well, I have a lot of involvement in New Ross, really. I'm involved in the local drama group here, the New Ross Drama Workshop.
Yeah.
So that's where, and I went to school here. I went to school above in Good Counsel.
Where did you go to school?
Yeah, Good Counsel.
Oh, right,
1996.
Right.
I started in first year. We were actually on Mary Street first. We were one of the last groups to be. The first years were down in, the building just in front of the Augustinian Church there.
Yeah. That's
so
right,
we were there for a year. I think there was another couple of years after us, but we were the last cohort at the time, and then moved up to the big bad world that is the second to sixth year above in Irishtown.
I remember the school being there when I started school there, so I did. I started in the CBS, so I did.
Okay.
And then I left the CBS after the junior cert, and I continued on then to the vocational college to do woodworking and metalwork and stuff like that. So I finished out my education there, and then I went on to do my apprenticeship then above in Dublin in Dundee, so I did. So I finished off my apprenticeship up there, so I did, in carpentry and candle making, so I did, so.
Isn't it amazing when you go into the schools now? I was in the Holy Faith recently just judging, as you know, my gig is cookery, and I was judging the Christmas cake competition recently for the girls, the transition year girls. And I went into the secondary school, and you wouldn't be in them that often. I was like, Jesus, how did we do this, because it's a completely different world. Now, obviously, it's very different now with the masks and everything as well, but I think I've just blotted out most of my secondary school days.
Yeah. It's very different, alright, so it is, you wonder, Jesus, how did you survive them years that you were there? But I suppose I honestly enjoyed going to school and doing my woodwork and stuff like that, so it is. So that kind of helped a lot, so it did, that kind of way.
And did you fall into kind of the cabinet making, or was that a family business, or how did you how did you kind of go from secondary school to that gig?
Well, I grew up on a dairy farm, and I always wanted to be, I suppose, a farmer, so I did. And then I was always messing and doing stuff, making stuff at home and stuff like that, so pallets and fooling around with my hands at home and doing a bit of building and stuff like that. So it kind of developed there from a very young age. So did being grown up on a dairy farm, I suppose we're always building and putting on new extension and sheds and stuff like that. So we were. So my dad would have been a builder, a background builder as well. So he would have. So I kind of picked it up from there. So I did. I moved on from there, and ever since that, then I suppose when I went into the vocational college, I kind of took off from there, and I really liked it. So did I had recently done a number of work placements in, we say, your Thursdays and Fridays there in a couple of places around National Gates and a few places like that around. So I had, and it was then that I made my mind up that that's what I wanted to do going forward, But no, I totally enjoyed it. So then it was great going to the two different schools, because when I was in primary school, I started in the CBS, I just didn't know what I wanted. And the fact then that I went on then and done my junior cert into CBS, and then went on and done the leaving cert into vocational college, well, that kind of opened up a lot of doors for me as to what way I wanted to go with my life and stuff like that. So it really was an eye opener to go there, and I love it since. So I do.
And what did they think at home when you were moving away from the farm then to open your own business? Because there's such a big difference, isn't there, between being a member of staff and being the boss? Like, it's a kind of a seismic difference, isn't it?
I can remember my father saying, Jesus, why are you leaving the job you're in, and this, that and the other, so you have your wages every week and that and the other. But I suppose he came from a generation where there were no work and stuff like that back then, and he had to travel to England and stuff like that to find work, and I suppose he would have had to send money home to his family and stuff like that, so he wouldn't. That's that generation, that's what happened then, so but I think as he saw me progressing my own life, my own business, and making my own money and stuff like that, he could see that that was the road for me, so he was. But yeah, there was a bit of negative thought to say, you know, you're giving up your weekly wage, and I suppose, you know, you have to have it in your head that that's what you want to do, you know, that kind of a way. No, he was glad to see it in the end, because he knew that's what I wanted to do, and that was it. And we never looked back since. We've been growing a business ever since, so we have, you know.
Opening a business or doing anything like that, it's always it's a leap of faith. I remember I have a couple of books, and I brought out my first book in 2008, and on the inside of the cover it says, "I'd like to thank all my family and friends for all their kind support and encouragement," which was a brutal lie, because nobody supported me or nobody encouraged me. Quite the opposite. But I suppose sometimes you have to just kind of follow through and see your own folly out. Isn't that the case?
Yeah, you do, yeah. Like, that's the thing about, like, I remember I built I took over a shed that my brother had sheep in our home, so he had, and I converted that. Sheep were gone, and it was turned into a workshop, so it was, you know, that kind of way. So there was a leap of faith in doing that, so they were, you know. And my father was like, Jesus, what's this fella had, like, you know, that kind of way. But no, that's where I originally started out, and never looked back from there, so I didn't, you know, that kind of way.
I'm thinking of our own kitchen at home, where I'm the youngest of 5. We go from, which I think I'm the youngest of 38, and the eldest is 54. So we're kind of like two families, if you like. Anne and Jim are the eldest, and then there's a kind of a gap between myself and Esther and Lorraine. But I'm thinking my own father was a kind of a wood turner and cabinet maker, and he worked firstly on the Grand Canals, and then he worked in Cal's in Great Namana, which at the time was wooden framed houses. Now it's kind of truck bodies. So he did a lot of wooden framed houses, and he built our own kitchen, which was in it for years and years and years. It was that kind of it was like, you know the way now you get the floors, I won't know the terms, but there's like a parquet floor. It was that sort of an effect, you know. And like, it was all good on the outside, and then the kind of the shelves were like a bit of formica or plywood or something. Chipboard, that was it. Chipboard, painted chipboard. But like, it was great, and we built an extension of the house. Ours was a bungalow, and we built an extension in 1992. And I can still remember, even though I was 9, I remember my father and my mother and my sister lifting in the stairs, because Daddy made the stairs. Like, everything that we had in our house at the time, not now, because it's obviously after getting new windows, but Daddy had made the windows, he made the doors, he made the stairs, he made this kind of panel over the fireplace. We had a bit, you know, wood mounted on the walls to cover bad walls, do you know, that sort of way. A desk, all the desk in my office now that I do my work in at home, he made that. He made a bookcase. And I suppose, you know, looking at your own business then, all of that is building memories, really. You're constructing memories that are really intrinsically part of people's lives, and particularly in the kitchen as the heart of the home.
It is, and it's funny, you know, you talk about, you know, things that your father done in your home and stuff like that, and I see that me doing that work in my house now, so I do, and I see my children, they're quite small, they're 10, 8 and 4, and I see them, you know, looking at me doing all this work, and like that too. You know, you could be doing the kitchen Monday, you could be doing skirting, actually, doors, flooring. So if there's anything to be done in the house, I end up doing it, so I do, you know.
You're not like the shoemaker's children then. You actually do your own house as well.
The
wife, as focusing on everyone else's.
The wife will have a different opinion of that.
We should have her here now. We should be cross-examining her.
It might be done on time, so it might be done to her schedule. But anyway, it gets done at some stage, so it does,
It's
but,
done.
Yeah, no, I look at it, you know, and it's great that you're said there, you're building memories, so yeah, you know, that kind of way. I suppose we probably don't take it as memory ourselves, because we're just concentrating on the work and getting the work done. But it's the kids that are there working with you that are helping out, doing small things, you know.
Of course,
the little one is only 4.5 there, and we were converting the bathroom there, or the downstairs toilet, so we were on the wall paneling and stuff like that there during the week, and she just happened to pick up some tools that I was using, and she just started doing the job herself. So there's no, I didn't show her, I didn't say nothing. She was just sitting back, and I went out of the room, and she came back, and I just seen her. I walked in on top of her, and this is what she was doing. She was doing exactly what I was doing. So and to me, look, that's worth anything. So you know, and that's about building memories and stuff like that. And I suppose for me in my business, that's where it started, because I was watching other tradesmen working in my house, so I was watching my father working on the farm and building stuff on the farm and stuff like that, and that's where I picked it up from back then, and I always loved it, so but it was definitely memories made there, so there were, you know, that kind of way.
I suppose I'm just thinking, talking to you, PJ, I'm a chef and the kitchen is so important, both in a kind of a commercial setting, but also in the domestic setting. And now I suppose people, as we prepare for Christmas on Saturday, people are going to be focusing on their kitchen and how they're going to get the use out of the kitchen and whether the kitchen is fit for this big gig that's the Christmas dinner. How do you kind of go about now? Because obviously, like years ago, it was different. How do you go about now marrying what kind of the customer wants with kind of what you know that they'll need and kind of the practicalities? Because I suppose if they're like me, they kind of think, oh, I'd like that colour and I'd like this handles or whatever.
Yeah.
But the practicalities, how do you kind of map out, if you like, or design a kitchen with the customer and to kind of you influencing them and perhaps they influencing you as well?
Well, I suppose the most important thing is to listen to the customer first. That's the most important thing, right? And then if you listen to the customer for long enough, you'll get the information back out of them of what they want and stuff like that. And then it's up for me then to say, right, okay, to advise them in the right kind of a kitchen, regardless in the layout. And, you know, it's also very important that they get their kind of layout behind the doors as opposed to the layout in front of the doors, right? Because, you know, you could design a kitchen for, we say, someone in their 80s. And sure, she's not going to want to be bending down and this, that, and the other. And she just wants plain, simple ovens and stuff like that. So she does. So you know, you listen to the customer, you see what they want, and you design it from there. And then it's up for you then to stand back. Then we say, right, okay, we know what you want. We then take the design process in, and then we look at the room to see, you know, how we can utilise the space as much as we can, so we can, you know, that kind of way. And we also look at the room and say, right, okay, we look at what light is coming in, is it north facing or south facing? So that'll help choose colours, worktops and stuff like that. So there's a combination of a couple of things there together that you just have to bring the whole thing together and put it all together at the end to make it work, you know.
And tell me, is there a vast difference between, from your point of view as a professional company coming in, from a kind of a new build versus a renovation? Or is a renovation kind of like trying to push an elephant up a hill to kind of make something out of something that's not there?
No, we would find that the renovation is kind of a lot easier to work with. Okay. Because the majority of people are renovating have lived in their kitchen. They've gone through the whole area of rearing a family in their kitchen, so they know. They know what's wrong with it. Yeah. They know what they want out of it. So it's very easy to work with them. So it is towards a new build. You know, we can find that they're looking on Pinterest, they're looking here, there, and anywhere. So they are, and they're mad looking for ideas, and they want a bit of this and a bit of that and a bit of this and a bit of that. And you know, I suppose like any new build at the moment, there, you know, the kitchen is kind of the last thing that goes in. And they're working on a budget and they're trying to have the best, but you know the budget's not allowing them to go for the best, you know, that kind of a way. But definitely the renovation jobs that we would see that you know they're a lot easier to work with, and it's a lot easier to get a design to work properly with them. So it is, you know, that kind of way, because the customer is after being in the kitchen, they know what's the problem with the kitchen and stuff like that. So for us, when we go in, it's important what's behind the doors than what's in front of the door. So it is, you know, that kind of way, because there's no point in putting in the kitchen that just fills the wall with presses. Yeah. You know, anyone can do that, so they can, you know. At the end of the day, the kitchen has become functionality. It's functionality. It's the heart of the home, so it is. And at the end of the day, someone is forking out money for the kitchen, it has to be right when it's finished.
Are you an island or a non-island person?
I'd be an island man. Okay. So I would. And yourself?
I love the island, I have to say. I love the island. In our own home, we don't have one because there's not the room for it. Our kitchen in the house is kind of like, it's quite a long kind of kitchen, but it just doesn't allow for an island. But in the cookery school at home, I have like this massive big island, and I think an island is great for sharing and convivial and coming together, whether it's for a party or whether it's for a family. It's great. I was just wondering there as you were chatting, you know, you're very handy at making the kitchen. How handy are you in the kitchen when it's made? Now that's the biggest question I want to know as a chef.
I suppose I'd have to do a couple of lessons with you there, but I suppose I consider myself handy in the kitchen, as I won't fade away or I won't starve, so you know, that kind of a way. But
you'd rustle up a bit of growth.
The wife might have a different story, or the kids might have a different story, you know. I know, look at it, I'd survive, so I would, you know, that kind of a way, but I wouldn't be no Jamie Oliver or no nothing else, you know, that kind of way. I'd be like yourself there, you know. I wouldn't be doing. You you won't see me taking over your job on the television.
Oh, well, I
so
don't
you
know.
won't,
I don't know about that. What will Christmas hold for you now? Christmas is so different this year, isn't it? I was around the street the other day, and it's great to see all of the businesses and all of the great, businesses who themselves are taking courage in their hands by opening and trading and really setting out their stall best. Lots of people that I know down through the years and from coming into town. But what about Christmas for you? What will Christmas hold for you?
I suppose.
And your family?
Yeah, well, this Christmas now we're going to the brother-in-laws there. Normally, my wife's family, we'd kind of do Christmas in a different house every year. Like it'd be the brother, sister, and father's house. So would you know that kind of way? So this year we're actually going to Kilkenny up to her brother's house. So we are. So I think there's
the real capital.
Yeah. Well, I don't know that now. I don't say that. But that's where we're going anyway. So time will tell. But I suppose it's about maybe 15 to 20 of us meeting up there. So that kind of a way. And it's nice. I suppose it's the one day of the year that both family meets up. That kind of way. The whole family meets up. So it is because nowadays everyone is so busy and this, that, and the other that we only meet up at Christmas time or funerals or something like that day. That kind of
weddings and wakes.
Weddings or wakes, yeah, exactly, yeah. But no, it'll mean a lot to the kids and stuff like that there. The kind of a way to have everyone there around them.
And I was telling you before we started that my career began with your family because I worked with your Uncle Jim down at the Jewish Inn in Graiguenamanagh when I was 16, would you believe? I started collecting the glasses.
You were a good worker when you were 16.
Oh, I was powerful. I loved it. I ate and drank it because I used to work collecting the glasses in the pub, and it was gorgeous. And anywhere I ever worked, and even still now all these years later, I always worked everywhere as if it was my own business. So I really took it really seriously, maybe to a fault, but I used to love collecting the glasses and washing the tables. And we used to have a really loyal customer base at the time. And the same people would be there every Saturday night. And I used to collect the glasses for the groups of ladies or the kind of the middle-aged couples. Now, when I look at them now, I'm wondering whether am I kind of heading up to that age. I'm probably heading to that age. But I used to get the glasses for them and give them their drinks. And I used to get a tip. I used to go home with a fortune of money, more than my sister who worked behind the bar. Works the room, absolutely. I give it, absolutely. But I suppose that's what hospitality is about. And no more than yourself. Now I'm sure you find that's what customer service is about. You have to have plenty of old soft talk.
You do. At the right times, so you do. That kind of a way. And is that where you grew your love for cooking and
100%.
entertaining and stuff like that? Like, did you always, or was it like how did the whole career start?
100%. That's how it started. When I was younger, I wanted to be either a teacher, an actor, or a chef. And I worked in the pub, and we had a really romantic version of what the hospitality industry was like. Because if you think about it, almost everybody was from Graiguenamanagh, so you were working with people you knew. Your customers at the time, it was started off quite parochial, so you knew everybody. So we thought we were like running the Ritz, do you know that sort of way in London? So it started like that, and I started in the bar. Then I used to move on. We used to have massive 21st there when 21st were the things. I remember. Jesus, I remember. But 2 o'clock in the morning, you have chicken legs as far as the eye could see, and it was powerful. And you'd be hoovering the carpet and trying to put the plates back together. And then it opened. It started doing food, and I started doing food there. And I did everything. And that was the one thing I say now, even to our students in the college, do everything. I did the bar, I washed spuds, I washed glasses, I washed toilets, I washed floors, I washed plates. I was up to me oxters in wash up. And it was great. I did the desserts, I did the sandwich. I grew, my skills, if you like, grew organically because I started with one job and I progressed to the next and the next. And Jim was powerful, in fairness. I think he knew that I was the poor student. So he used to always ring me for the few hours, do you know, that sort of way. But he was great to work for. And it was a really relaxed boss, do you know. But the work got done, I suppose. He selected staff very carefully. He didn't just hire anyone passing the road. People came on recommendation or on trial or whatever. And you could have home rule, because he wasn't an intrusive, invasive boss, but he trusted the staff, and the staff were reciprocated that trust
Yeah.
in him, and it was a powerful place to work. And so many people, even still, I meet me saying, "Oh, I remember getting my dinner off you in the douche, got lashed out on the carvery."
Yeah.
But it was a great place to work.
But you said there that you started there when you were the age of 16 there, and you done everything, and now you have a very good business going. So you have, and I suppose you're at the top end now. So yeah, but I suppose, did you feel that because you started on the low end, and now you're at the top, did that help you in your business to where you are today?
Definitely, it gave me that grounding. I think I will let me tell you, I'm still up to my oxters and washing up, so I don't think, and washing floors. Yeah, it certainly did, because it kept it very real for me, do you know?
Yeah.
Now, I loved it. I have to say I loved it. I loved the whole sense of everything that I was doing. But it gave me a sense of what it's like to own a business, do you know?
Yeah.
Now, I suppose we all have a downfall, and my downfall is that I chase perfection, and that can be good and it can also be bad, because you can end up being a very tough taskmaster for yourself. Do you know, that sort of way? But I certainly loved all of my jobs down to these. But any job I ever worked in, I gave it my absolute all, do you know. I have great belief, I always say it even to colleagues now. I say, well, if we're going to court, I'll be able to put my hand on the Bible and say I did my best.
Yes, you did your best, yeah.
Do you know? And I do believe, without being kind of philosophical about it, I do believe that if you do your best in anything, whatever it is, that's good enough.
Oh yeah.
Do you know? If it's your best,
yeah.
that's good enough.
That's right, yeah. And like that, I suppose you need to have that kind of attitude going into a business and stuff like that, that you have to give it your best.
Yeah.
Because if you don't, it's not going to last, and that's the thing about it. So and especially in your job, that it's a very tough business to be in at times. So it is, that kind of a way. I mean, if you give someone out wrong dinners and food and they're not happy with food, well, they could tell 50 to 70 people there, so they could, that kind of a way. So, every time you're on show the whole time, so when you do make your food and stuff like that, so it is, that kind of a way,
But business in itself is tough. I learned that because I spent a long time as an employee, and even still I am an employee down in WIT, but I only have my business 6 years, and I could nearly say I have a PhD at this stage, because I knew nothing about business.
Yeah.
Do you know? And I would always say that to people. And if I was to put my hand still on the Bible or on my heart, I probably wouldn't think I'm a good business person. I'm very good. I was going to say excellent, but my mother always said you have to be humble. But I'm very good at providing a service, at creating an experience, at building an experience for a customer. But I wouldn't be a good business person, because I could go out and I could see 20 napkins and I said, God, they're beautiful now and they're €6 and I bring on them, whereas I should be getting 100 of them for €6. Do you know, that sort of way? Yeah. So I'm not good at business. The kind of the rules of business I wouldn't be great at. Yeah. But customer experience I'm very good. So in that, I think the business comes around that way.
Yeah.
But business is tough. The decision making is tough, isn't it?
Yeah, the decision making is tough, very tough. So it is, that kind of way. And sometimes, working with the general public and stuff like that can be tough too. You like to think everyone is the same as you and this, that, and another, but that's not always the way. So it is, in business. So it is, I suppose, you set up your business there to be the chef. You didn't set up your business to be a businessman. So that's a key factor there in your business.
Because mine is the trade,
Yeah, it's like me with the kitchens, I'd much rather be down on the factory floor than to be sitting up in the office doing paperwork.
Because that's where the fun is, isn't it?
That's where the fun is.
And the creativity.
Of, going into a house and seeing the whole house transform in there in a couple of days, so it is, towards sitting above on the computer looking at paperwork and facts and figures doesn't appeal to me at all. But however, being in business, that's the most important part of it, so it is, and if you don't get that right, you don't get your business right, and that's it at the end of the day.
And PJ, tell me, what's kind of defrosting time or time out for you and the family? Is it a kind of a holiday? Is it kind of Netflix? Is it a meal out? Is it a bit of sun? Is it a kind of a drive down to Hookhead? Or where do you charge the old batteries?
It's funny how you said it now, because it's actually it's normally on a Sunday, that's where I'd normally chill out or whatever. But normally we would actually go up to Graydon, so we would.
Yeah.
We'd always go for walks up and down with the river there and stuff like that. And that's just it's just
It
a
is
switch off
special,
point.
yeah.
It and it's nice there by the wall, with the boats and stuff like that there. So it is, I'd find that relaxing. I'm not big into television or anything like that. I'm not big into sports or anything like that. I'm just quite happy to just go off for a drive there and go for a walk up around Graydon, St. Mullins or any of them places.
Yeah.
It's really nice there with the boats and stuff there, and just chilling out and get something to eat with your family.
Yeah.
I mean, you don't need to be 100 miles away from home to spend time with your family and chill out.
Yeah, have a
When you
nice
don't,
time. And it's important to charge the batteries. I myself wouldn't be a big holiday person.
No,
I don't have I have one sister now, and if she didn't get a holiday in the year, she'd feel as if her life was incomplete.
Yeah.
Whereas a holiday wouldn't overly do it for me. What I love is not to be on the clock. So I'd love whether it's to come down here and whether it's to Ross or Kilkenny and maybe go into Betty's in the tavern and have a kind of a cup of coffee during the day or a couple of spahans in the night, and just not to have someone chasing after you saying, come on.
Yeah.
I just think that's lovely to be able to just have a bit of leisure time.
Yeah.
But I mean, we're in a very gilded cage in our area, and I think we got a sense of that during the lockdown, that we were all, blessed with our communities,
you don't need
and
to
re-established a sense of them.
Yeah, and you see, I suppose when you own your own business, you're on the clock from the minute you get up in the morning till the minute you close your doors in the evening, and that's why I see it myself. It doesn't matter where I am once I'm just not once I'm away from everything, and that's it. Because you are on the clock every day on your business, so you are, the kind of way, and time is money, and that's why it is the way it is, the kind of way.
I don't have experience of it because I don't have children, but in terms of your own children, do you think now as a father, and I could only imagine how a father would think, but do you kind of think that your business is going to be a legacy for them, or that they might kind of move it on, or would you kind of divert them or direct them somewhere else, or do you kind of see it as part of the full setup?
Well, I suppose in the bad days you'd be trying to divert them somewhere else, so that kind of way, but on the good days, look at it, man, you'd like to see one of them taking over the businesses. I said at the start there that I started the business from a sheep shed out in my father's farm, so I started from that, and so I built it from there. So I would be hoping that maybe one of them would take it over, but at the end of the day, carpentry work and construction work, just because your father has it, that doesn't mean that you have it, that kind of a way. So I'd hope they would, but at the same time too, if they don't want to do it, they don't want to do it, and that's as simple as that. And if they don't want to do it, the business won't survive because they won't have the interest in it, so they won't, and that's very important in our job, to have the interest in it, so it is, And do you see, we say, in business that you see around and stuff like that, like, do you see where business have handed over, we say, their business to their children and stuff like that, where, it hasn't been a success, like?
Yeah, well, I mean, I get what you say, because I think they need to have that passion or that desire to run it, as opposed to it being a kind of a handy trick, that sort of way.
Yeah.
So I think if they don't have, and I mean, I think human nature, we all think we can do better than everybody else.
Yeah.
And I think children probably have that as well. We can they can see a really good product, and you see how that can be built on. Do you know that sort of way? And you see lots of, intergenerational businesses here, even in New Ross and in our own area, whereby, people pick up the business and, run with what's been run, but kind of progress it to the next level as well.
Yeah.
And I think rethinking and reimagining business is something that's fantastic to see, but difficult to make happen as well. But I think, as you say yourself with your own children, the kernel is that there's a desire to do that, because if not, it'll fall flat.
Yeah,
you'd be better off to sell it and take the money and run.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. So
if there's any left,
if there's any left, exactly. That's the other side of it. So it is, that kind of way. You'd see local businesses in Ross here, and the way that the next generation has stepped in and moved it on, so it has, that kind of way, and it's good, like, so it is. But the last thing you want is to be throwing someone into a career that they don't want to go down. So, you know, that kind of way, because it's not fair on anyone, you know.
Absolutely,
Yeah.
absolutely. But it's a great. I'm just trying to think over the years. You know, we used to come to Ross. My father and mother used to come down on the tractor to Ross. That's as true as God. And we used to come down and park up in Kitty Slevin's car park.
Right,
and my father used to get his hair cut in Thomas Crowdell's. And I remember. Daddy used to be queuing. I think he used to open at 9:30. My father would be queuing maybe from about 9:15. You know, you'd think you were above in Grafton Street queuing to get in, you know. And, you know, we used to go down then. There was a restaurant, the Krusty Kitchen in the L&N car park. I think it's a kind of an international cuisine shop, I think, at the minute. Go into the L&N, go to the bakehouse, all of the simple things, you know, get the cards in Nolan's and all of that sort of thing when you be in from the country, because for us New Ross was kind of like the metropolis, because it was our nearest town.
But I suppose when you were coming down on the tractor that only does about 15 miles an hour, it would be a bit of a trek, alright. You wouldn't be inclined to forget the bread going home, so you wouldn't.
No,
know,
definitely not. Definitely not.
I can remember I suppose, you know, being grown up on a farm and stuff like that, but a lot of our shopping that time would have been done in the old creameries, where the creameries would have had their shops in them, so they would have, you know. So, but we used to come into town. It's funny how you said about to get the haircut, so it is. But I remember my father coming in, and he'd be bringing in 4 or 5 of the kids. There was 8 children in my family, so there were, you know. But there were 3 or 4 of us in the hairdresser, so they would, and it wouldn't be just a quick shave, so you know the hair would be quite long, so you know that's
we're getting scalped.
Yeah, we're getting well scalped, so I could have been maybe twice a year going into us and getting the haircut, so it is, you know, that kind of way. But no, and you'd even see through the photos of us going to school, we all had long hair going to school, so we had, you know, that kind of way. So
just come in. And now, of course, you could trip over hairdressers and hairstylists in New Ross. I come in, I get mine done in with Anna Furlong, and my mother goes to Caroline, so I could often be parking one place, and mother is going this way to Caroline, I'm going this way to Anna. But there's so many. I mean,
there's a great variety of hairdressers in New Ross now, so they are, you know, that kind of way.
Great variety.
The good thing about it is, and I suppose COVID has done this too, that you know, you just book in your appointment and that's it, you're in and you're out and gone. Well, so, and that's one of the good things that came out of COVID, I find, anyway, because before you could go in there Saturday morning and say, Jesus, it'll be done now here in half an hour, and you could drop an hour and a half there sitting in the hairdresser, so you would, you know. When
you mention hairdressers, I'll have to tell you the funniest quick story. Jenny Murphy O'Neill from Vibe used to do the hair for us for the drama, you know. And anyway, we were doing a play one time. We went over to the pub afterwards, and of course one drink led to another and the whole that. And I remember, I think I put up a picture of myself and Jenny on Snapchat saying, you know, great night sort of thing. And I was supposed to be on Ireland GM the next morning. Anyway, I got a lift home, and didn't I sleep on it the next morning? Leapt up out of the bed like a resurrection, and they said, can you be here by 10 or 9:45? So I literally picked up the clothes off the floor and went on, got to Dublin, and I said, God, they said, were you out last night? I said, God, no, sure, if I was out, I said, I'd get up. I said, completely slept on it and all this sort of thing. And the slot went live, and Mark Hagney, who was presenting, he said, Edward, you said you weren't out last night. But he said, we found this on your Snapchat. And myself and Jenny, so she said to me that I made her a star on television for all the wrong ways. But great old crack as well. We'll have to get you into the drama now, PJ, as well.
No, I wouldn't be any good at that crack, so I wouldn't.
We're an All-Ireland winning group now, in 2019 we won the All-Ireland with the play, so we'll have to.
It's funny actually, going back to my youth club days. I would have done a lot in the youth club, so I would have done the John Player Tops and stuff like that.
Yes, of course.
And I kind of loved it actually, so did you know that kind of. But we actually won out. I think we won the John Player Tops.
April Cody, was it?
I wasn't dancing now. Well, I was dancing now actually.
Yes.
This is a good one now. I was dancing. I was doing the
can.
No. The river dance was out that time.
Okay.
So it was, and I had to dress up as Jean Butler, so I had. And,
okay.
I had to be the girl, so I did. You know that kind of way now.
I wonder how we got a costume here. We could recreate it.
I'd have to get the chest wax, so I would. You know that kind of way. I was only 16 back then, so we were here around the dance sort of one, you know.
Yeah.
But No, I had to dress up as Jean Butler and do the river dance thing. So, but actually we won the river dance. So we won the John Player Tops.
Yeah.
So we did. Yeah. So that's my claim to fame now.
Well, listen,
so
I tell you,
and that's it. No, I'm gonna stop. I'm gonna stop them at the top.
Yeah,
There'll be no more. There'll be no more.
no more at all. The show business is over.
Yeah, the show business is over now. That's it. Now stop when you're at the top, Edward. You know.
Yeah, well, listen, that'll be something now to tell them around the fire at Christmas.
Yeah, I suppose so. Yeah.
Put on Jean Butler and Michael Flatley first, and then say, "Now that was Daddy."
Daddy, yeah. The legs were a bit thinner back then as well, so they were, you know.
Oh, sure, listen, that's it. Story, tale is old.
And do you like the tops? You do?
I love the drama, really. I do. I do. Now, there's a great group of people. I mean, I'm coming in, helicoptering in after people have been working at it for a long time. The group is over 40 years old. I'm with it about 9, I think, at this stage. And yeah, I do like it. I like the drama. I like, I suppose, trying, you know, you're preparing to be someone else. We're working together on a show. It's a kind of a team, you know, as you said earlier on about the sports. I was never into kind of the sports or anything like that. So that was the team that I was in, and I think it's good to be part of a team, and I think even it's good from a business point of view. I remember a friend of mine years ago who ran a business. She said, I hate being on a team. She said, because she said, on a team you have to rely on other people to make the decisions. She said, in my business I make all the decisions. And that maybe is good and bad, do you know, that sort of way. But I love it, and it's something completely different. And when I'm coming from work, I'd often kind of wouldn't even go home. I might pull in and nip in 10 McDonald's and have my dinner before rehearsal, and then go on from there as well. But it's good.
It's a hobby to you then.
It's really a hobby. It's a complete hobby. Absolutely, it's a complete hobby, and it's completely different from my world. Do you know, that sort of way? So it's great. So
well, that's what makes it, you know, a hobby. So it's, you know, that kind of that's completely different from your day to day. Because like that too, you know, when you run your own business and stuff like that, you need just something to focus away from the business. Yeah. And come back fresh the next day. So it is, you know, that kind of way at the business, you know. The players are doing quite well there, aren't they? They
are. But the COVID has affected everything. The COVID, that's what we say in the country, isn't it? Yeah. The COVID has affected everything. But God, hopefully we'll finish up with it soon enough. It's after been a tough old station, hasn't it?
Yeah. Well, you out for Christmas then? Were you doing plays for Christmas?
No, we did a play. We did a play in September, October, November on the circuit. But no, I think there were to do a pantomime here in town. I wasn't involved in it. I'm not involved with the pantomime group, but that's cancelled. And now they're hoping to do a musical in March.
Yes.
And then there's another musical group who just did a fundraising concert, St. Michael's Theatre Musical Society, the fundraising concert, and New Ross Music Society will do theirs. So it's different. I mean, it's like everything. I mean, you can't plan anything now at this stage, and you know, planning is difficult.
Do they much rehearsal goes into it?
Oh, like, Jesus, the power of it.
How long would you be
well, it would all depend. When we would do a circuit play, which is the month that we bring out in a competition, we could spend 12 or 14 weeks at it. Do you know, 2 and 3 nights a week, and then you'd be learning at home and trying to develop your character and all of that. So it's great. Listen, it passes the all winter, and as I said, we might come down after the rehearsals. We might run into Betty's for a little glass of wine or whatever. So
why not keep the local business going?
All of that is it's great. And Betty is obviously the theatre tavern, but Betty is very good to all the theatre groups and musical groups. She's a powerhouse of hospitality herself.
Yeah, and it's a lovely pub to go into. Actually, it's a lovely pub to go into and just chill out. So you know,
it certainly is. Even if you were in shopping during the day to run in for a coffee, it's lovely. It's lovely.
That kind of way. So when are you finished for Christmas then?
I am finished for Christmas. Would you believe me? I do a radio programme on KCLR, and this is my first year ever. I'm doing it on Christmas Day from 10 until 12. But I'm calming down. I do a little bit now on Ireland AM, and we have a carol service at home tomorrow night, so I do kind of MC if you like for that. But I'm starting to wind down for Christmas, but we're then a little bit like the shoemaker's children. I could have everyone else sorted for Christmas, and I could be running around myself in a flurry to sort it.
And have you got many for Christmas dinner yourself?
Well, I have 9 in on site. I have one cousin of mine that I'm delivering it to, and my sister has COVID at the minute.
All right.
So she's on her second Christmas in lockdown because last year she was a close contact, and this year now she has COVID herself. So she has a husband and 3 young boys. So she has a house of men. So I'll be dropping the dinner to them as well. So I'll be doing a drop and run. So if you want an old bit of turkey, give me a shout when I'm on the road.
So when you're going down that far, you might as well come on another bit.
Yeah.
You might as well, you know what I mean?
And a few extra spuds, absolutely, yeah.
We'll give you the van if you don't bother that way, so they won't do it.
Yeah, but it's great. And listen, come here, before we finish then, what about the new year? Are you a New Year's person?
Yeah, I would be, yeah.
Do you? Yeah,
I do. Yeah. I quite enjoy the new year. I quite enjoy, I suppose, as a business side of things, to focus where we're going next year and trying to progress the business and stuff like that. So we do, you know. And I suppose it's a fresh start to a new year, and it's always good, so it is, you know. I particularly don't really like November, Halloween, any of that. The end of the year, don't really like it. So I don't, because in our business, you know, you're always busy up to Christmas, so you never really get time to enjoy Christmas. So you don't, because everyone's looking for you and everyone wants everything done for this day of the year. So there's another kind of way towards the first half of the year. It comes more relaxed and easy, so it is, you know. And spring is coming and everything is starting to grow again, you know. You know.
We can be getting ready to shake out the barbecues then.
We
know they're coming. Once the spring comes, we know they're coming shortly after.
And do you enjoy Christmas, or do you like? Is there a favourite time of the year that you like?
I love Christmas. I have to say, I love the lead up to Christmas, and when I get up Christmas morning, I find it very anticlimactic. I kind of think it's all over then. Do you know that sort of way? So I love the preparation up to it, and then I do like the bit of relaxation around it, and kind of, you know, having the half a tin of roses for your breakfast and the sound of music and all that. So I do love that. New Year's never really did it for me. I often worked when I was in the pub. I often used to work, and I probably enjoyed that really, because I think there's great pressure to do this little audit on yourself, and you're kind of saying, well, what am I going to do better, or what am I going to achieve next year, or like people would have different both personal and professional goals and whatever, and I don't know whether they often get realised.
You're not a man to go and hit the gym then the 1st of January then, no.
Oh,
break all these rules
till I
for the
tell
first
you
month
what,
and then die away.
I probably would hit it for the 1st of January and then give it up on the 2nd.
Yeah, you know, I think we said that way, so
but anyway, willpower wouldn't be my strongest thing. But anyway, listen, hopefully we'll get out alive and get into the new year, and all will be well.
Yeah, nice to meet you.
Likewise.
Thanks very much.
Likewise, Peter.
Thank you.